Hi everybody. This lab is pretty straightforward and it's not really a lab as much as just an observation activity. So I would recommend you doing this yourself because you want to be able to feel the pressure that's created when you're trying to push the plunger. So all you need from your lab kit is the baking soda, there is a syringe, it's in the plastic tub, um, and some water in any container. Anyhow, we're going to start, and what we're going to do is we're going to observe differences between solids, liquids, and gases. So the first part, we want to make observations, and that's why you should do this yourself if you have the ability. It's pretty simple, and it's interesting the way it works out. And now you're going to make observations on the gas, the liquid, and the solid, and you're going to put them into your data table. So the first part, we're going to take the cap off of your syringe, and pull in about 20 milliliters of gas. Put the cap back on. Now, when you push this, I would recommend holding the cap on with your thumb or your finger, something. Okay, so the cap does not pop off. Anyhow, what I want you to observe is the compressibility of the gas. Can gases be compressed? Yes, look. When I do this, I'm actually forcing the gas particles close together. And then when I release the plunger, you see it pushes them back out because the gas particles do not want to be compressed. So you can actually compress this pretty far, um, almost down to zero if you really push hard enough, but it'll always push itself back out because that is in the gas's nature to want to expand and push out the volume. So anyhow, make your observations from this. But like I said, you should try doing this yourself. Even if you do not do the other two portions of the lab, you should definitely do this part so that you can feel the gas pressure pushing on the plunger and trying to force it back out. All right, for the second part, we're going to observe a liquid. So take the lid off again, and this time we're going to use some water, which is our liquid, and you're going to draw up about 20 milliliters. Now what I would do is draw more. Now, as you see, when you draw that up, you get a gas in there. So you want to turn it upside down, and you want to get rid of some of that gas. I actually took too much out of here. Now, the actual amount doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I have about 26 milliliters. You can get rid of those extra 6 milliliters if you want, or you could just do it that way. It's not, we want to observe the properties, so the actual amount doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, once it's in here, once again, hold the lid on and see if you can compress the water. Now, I can compress the water slightly, very slightly, but there's also an air bubble in there. So is the air bubble affecting it, or is water compressible? I can compress it almost half a milliliter, but that's it. No further than that. Okay, so you're going to do that. Now, I did forget. We should have done the water last, but that's okay. It's not a huge deal, but it would make our next part easier. So anyhow, get rid of the water. And the third part, we are going to observe a solid. Now for this one, pull the plunger all the way out. And try and get as much water out of that syringe as you possibly can. Hopefully you can get most of the water out. Anyhow, once you get the water out, we're going to actually try and put about 20 milliliters of the baking soda in here. So you're going to put the cap on. If you have a paper towel or a napkin or something, try and get the water out because you know it's just going to make the baking soda stick, and we don't want that. So just clean it out a little bit. Anyhow, we are going to pour this in, and be careful because this will make a mess. If you have a funnel or something, you could use a funnel, and you should have a funnel from your lab kit. So if you want to do this a little bit neater, you may use a funnel. That might help, might not. And once again, this doesn't have to be exact. But get it to be around 20 milliliters if you can. And I have a little bit over 20 milliliters, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Now, what we're going to do, because we have to get rid of all this air, you're going to put the plunger back in, just like this, and then flip it upside down and knock it so that it comes out of the top. Now, once you've done that, you're going to force, you take the lid off and you force the air out of here by pushing the plunger up, basically until the baking soda is in the nozzle here. And once the baking soda is in the nozzle, then go ahead and put the cap back on. And then once again, try and compress the baking soda. This is now your solid. Are you able to compress it at all? And I'll tell you, I can't even budge it. I can't even make it move a little bit. So I would say that a solid is not compressible at all. So this is how you will fill out your data table using the data, using the observations from the gas, the liquid, and the solid.